Hey, I'm Natalie Jane, and I'm hanging out with Rob on Front Row Live.
What's up, guys? Rob here, Front Row Live Entertainment. I am finally hanging out with Natalie Jane. I've been trying to get with you for some time, to the point where like I was telling my wife, like, I'm finally getting to sit down with Natalie, and she was all like, "I thought you did that last year." I was like, "No, last year's when I first got really into her music."
Wait, well, I'm so happy to be here today.
Yes, I'm happy that we can make it happen.
Amazing.
You've had a pretty busy year so far. I feel like you've been in and out of tour.
Yeah.
You've been in and out of the States. So how has that year been like, or how has this year been like for you? And like, how has that helped you, now that the EP's out, like during that creative process, like catapult you to be able to be more creative in the studio?
Yeah, it was super chaotic, but that's the way I like it, I feel. It was really fun to go to Europe to tour for the first time. I just felt so welcome there, and I feel like I have a lot of listeners especially in Germany, and it was so cool to meet them. Some of my biggest shows were there.
Nice.
And then I came back to the States. As you said, I opened for Bishop Briggs and Mr. Wives on their run, which was so cool because Bishop Briggs is like my favorite artist in the world.
That's so sick.
But yeah, my creative process is very much so I go to the studio with something in mind, something I want to write about, usually something I'll think about either in the shower or just something I see on TikTok. A lot of girls just like ranting about their life and their shitty boyfriends, and I'm like, I could write about this. And then that's usually how it goes.
Nice. So these stories that we listen to in your songs, like, have they been part of your life actually, or these are all stories that you've kind of like come across through, like, as you mentioned, like TikTok or anywhere else?
Most of them are my life with like a little twist in them. Like Ava is my life, sadly.
My favorite.
But it's okay.
I hate that that's your life, because it's my favorite song. Like, that's the song that really like got me into you.
It's just really funny because I'll do shows, and going into Ava, I'll be like, is there anyone named Ava here tonight? And one time there's this 9-year-old front row named Ava.
No.
And the whole time I'm screaming, who the is Ava?
Oh, no.
That's all right.
How
She
was
came with her
that?
mom. So she had to have known it was coming.
That's funny, because initially I was like, that was the name that I initially wanted for my daughter.
Oh, gosh.
It was like going, just because I love Angels and Airwaves. So like,
Okay.
it reminds me of Angels and Airwaves. And I listened to the song, and my wife was like, who the is Ava? What are you trying to tell me? I was like, this is hilarious.
We're not going to name our daughter this. What'd you end up going with?
There's no daughter yet. So
Okay.
it's still up in the air.
Okay.
But I don't know. I still kind of want Ava in my life.
All right. You know what? Do it. It's all right. As long as she's not blonde.
Yeah, just describe her for me.
Yeah.
So talk to me about this debut EP. It's finally here. Like,
yes.
It's some time in the making for you, obviously, like, because you want to know it's the right time. You want to be ready for that release, for people to listen to what you've heard. Talk to me about that creative process with this EP, and like, how different is it now that it's out, and like being able to like finally let these songs be heard?
Yeah. We've just been making it for over 1.5 years, which is a long time. At least it is to me. And I think we were just waiting for the right time to give everyone everything, because along the way, if you listen to it in order, there's a storyline to it. And it's finally being able to see all of it in a row, in order, I think is going to be super cool for the listeners.
I'm in love with like not just the order of it or like the storyline with it, but like just your gymnastics with your vocals. It's insane. Like, it doesn't seem like you even try. Like, it's just
Thank
a natural.
you.
Like, talk to me about kind of discovering your voice and being able to learn how to control it, especially with like these like heartbreaking songs that you're creating.
Yeah. It's actually funny you say gymnastics, because I have a vocal coach that I've had for a bunch of years now. And I remember I started with like more Broadway songs, more musical theater when I was first learning how to sing. But then I would do like these riffs and these runs in it.
Yeah.
And my coach was like, you can't really do all this gymnastics stuff if you want to be on Broadway. And that's the first time I heard it. So you saying that right now is funny. But I've been taking vocal lessons for a while. I always knew music is what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And I think after high school, after graduating and being able to do this all day, every day, was when that kind of flip was, oh, I can actually do this for a career. And it's just looking back now at high school, I never really knew that this is something that I could make a living off of, or is something that was actually possible.
Yeah.
This career is like almost unimaginable. But the fact that it's all coming to life, especially with this EP, I'm so excited. I couldn't be more excited.
Yeah. Did you think that it wasn't possible because you didn't believe in yourself, or just because like the music industry just seemed like a far reach for you?
Yeah, I think it was just a far reach. Like you turn on the radio and you hear Ariana Grande. It's like you can't just like apply for a job to be an artist. You have to do it yourself.
Very true. Yeah, that's very true. What got you to really like pursue it? Because, you know, in the beginning, as you're trying to put your name out there and you're trying to like release and be heard, it's not easy. Like, so even though you might have had obstacles, like what is it that kept you still like pushing hard to be where you're at today?
I think my manager, he's always saying to me, if I'm ever complaining that like numbers aren't doing good, or if I'm ever like sad about something, he's like, you're the only one that can make this dream possible.
Yeah.
And he's always encouraging me, saying like, if you're not putting in the work, why is someone else going to put in the work for you?
Right. It's kind of cool because like one of your songs, which is your recent single, Intrusive Thoughts, it's like you're just pigeonholing yourself, like giving yourself these like negative ideas or negative thoughts. Like it's hard to get out of that like kind of headspace.
Yeah.
Let's dive in and talk about like that writing process for this song, and like how were you okay or comfortable to like write this track?
I think just my favorite thing about that track is how the chorus isn't really a consistent thought. It's like, what if I never find somebody to love?
Yeah.
Or I get the chance and I f it all up. And then I'm like, what if I get to heaven? It's not even real.
Yeah.
And it's all just a whole blender of random intrusive thoughts that you have. And I kind of like that it's not that consistent. Because that's how it is when you like start to spiral, or you're having like a panic attack or something. Like every possible bad thing just like comes right at you in your face. And I feel like the song is a good interpretation of that intrusive thought, panic attack, existential crisis moment.
Yeah, I feel like that's what I kind of thought of. Like it's like that panic attack experience. Like all these negative thoughts are going through your mind, and like you're over here just trying to breathe. Like in the studio when you were creating this, was this also with Pink Slip? And did you like how were you able to kind of step out of that comfort zone yet still like be able to be comfortable during the process?
Yeah, I've done a lot of stuff with Pink Slip, so being with him, definitely like I feel safe and like I feel protected. And I think a really important factor of the song is the vocal and bringing out the emotion in the vocal.
Yeah.
And he's really good at helping me capture that emotion and put it into the song. And he like points out lines and certain phrasing of how you sing the words can make it impact you so much more. And I'm really happy I did those vocals too with him. Because I think that's what really brought the song to life.
Yeah. During this process of listening to the EP, going back to your vocal gymnastics, like you have this incredible whistle that you just throw out like nothing. Do or Die, at the end of Do or Die is when I hear it the most, but I feel like it's subtle throughout the entire EP. Talk to me about that whistle, and like how do you even control, like literally, like I was like, is this real or is this a flute? Because it's just so perfect.
It definitely took tons and tons of practice. I'm also fully incapable of doing it if I don't have tons of water in my system. Like I was towards the end of a show that I did in LA, and I just like couldn't do the whistle, and I'm like, dang, I did not drink enough water today. But that's besides the fact. The end of Do or Die is super fun because I think that's when I just show it off the most.
Yeah.
I'm just like belting as high as loud as I can, and then I do the ooh.
Not expected, by the way.
It's my favorite to do on stage, especially. Oh my goodness. In Europe, we did a hard style remix of Do or Die.
Sick.
And yeah, I just feel like when we were in the Netherlands in The Hague,
Mm.
people were jumping. I feel like we turned the show into a club. It was like a rave. Anyway, Do or Die is my favorite. That's why I'm going on a rant about it.
Yeah, no, good. And I love that you have this kind of like rave kind of vibe to a lot of these tracks.
Yeah. Torture.
Oh my God, I love that song. Let's dive in and talk about Torture. Because yeah, with Torture as well, because it gives me this like dark, eerie, industrial yet like ragey kind of like
Yeah.
feeling and sound on this track.
Well, a huge inspiration for me in the music is Labyrinth, who is
Oh.
very much like that.
Yeah.
So with Torture in the studio, I was just like listening to Labyrinth before, and then I went in and I'm like, I want to make something that sounds like this.
Yeah.
And then the night before, I was scrolling on TikTok and I saw a post, and it's like, this girl was really mad at her ex, and she's like, I hope you say my name to her instead of her name by accident
Yeah.
or something. And then I wrote the whole song about that. Like, does my name come up in your relationship?
Man, TikTok is like doing it for you.
TikTok and Labyrinth. It's a good combo.
What is it like? How do you, or what kind of impact does this kind of like styling like music have on your vocals? Because as I mentioned earlier, it's kind of different within every single track.
Mm-hmm.
So how does that impact like your vocal ranges and tones and just your cadence as well?
Yeah, well, there's definitely a balance, I think, that I'm discovering also recently with production and vocals.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I can't have too much massive vocal on a very heavy production track, like Torture, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Everything, the vocal is super mellow, but the production is just like in your face.
Heavy, yeah.
Whereas Intrusive Thoughts is most minimal production. It's just some piano and some strings at the end.
Yeah.
But then the biggest vocal, I think, that I have on a song. It's super hard to sing live.
Why do you do this to yourself? Do you even think about it during the recording process?
No, because it's great when you're recording. You can like, okay, this line's hard. Let me do it in a few minutes. Let me take a break. You do the line. But then when you're live, I had like 4 lessons this last month just to work on that song. It's so hard to sing.
Damn.
But we're going to do it. It's going to be great.
When does this song come out on like as far as like your live performance? Like do you leave it for the end of the show? Do you leave it for like the start of the show? Like
I think
are you still trying to figure it out?
I think the song would be towards the beginning of the show.
Yeah.
Because if I'm tired and I sing it, I just don't think it'll sound good. But speaking of shows,
let's go.
Tour
Please.
is gonna.
Please, it's time.
I'm going back to Europe.
Nice.
And then back to the United States. Or I'm going US first. Honestly.
I guess we'll just have to figure it out.
I guess I'll have to look at the post on my Instagram.
But this is a proper headline.
Yes.
For the EP.
Yes.
Awesome.
I did a headline in Europe last year.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it's still this year. And then I did the opening slot for Bishop, but this is going to be the next headline.
So this is technically your US debut headline.
Yes.
Tour.
Super excited.
That's awesome. What did you learn from these last tours that you want to bring into this upcoming headliner?
I just learned that like there are people in a room that are here to see you, and you can't make them bored. That's always what goes through my head. Like
more intrusive thoughts.
More intrusive thoughts, actually. Yeah. That's my biggest fear is putting on a show and then people are not enjoying it.
Yeah.
But
has that happened before?
I hope not. No one's ever come up to me after a show.
You sound traumatized. Like, no. Like you've experienced this before and now you don't want to go back to it.
No, I think it's just doing the first batch of shows. It was like, I think 30 or 40 shows that we did so far.
Yeah.
I think that like put me in the headspace and like into the rhythm and the routine of like, okay, this is how a show has to go. This is what I have to do.
Mm-hmm.
And now going into this next one, I feel definitely more prepared. And also something that just popped into my head. You said before, has someone ever like not liked the show?
Yeah.
Someone did come up to me at the merch booth after. I don't do it at every show, but I was at the merch booth signing shirts. And this girl was like, I don't like your designs, but I wanted to say hi.
Oh.
I'm like, that's so mean. I was like, do you want anything? She's like, no, maybe if you have better
Oh
designs.
my God.
Anyway, I just wanted to say that because you brought that up before. So hopefully we have better designs
So
for you
now,
this
yeah,
time.
you'll just have to find out when you go on the new headline tour. That's, I mean, it's one of those things where it's like I would imagine like it's like thank you for being honest with me, but at the same time it's like shit, I worked hard for these.
It's like you didn't have to do that. Ugh. But now I know we need better designs, you
Yeah.
know?
Well, let's go back on a happy note. During the
Yeah.
process, the recording or even the writing process of this EP, what song would you say like you had the most like fun either creating or recording,
I
and
think
why?
7 is my favorite song. Um it's similar to Intrusive Thoughts, I feel,
Mm.
conceptually. It's just like you're spiraling and you're like, was it ever really love?
Yeah.
You're just like thinking back on something and having all these intrusive thoughts. And then at the end of the chorus, I'm like, I'm starting to freak out. Ha, ha, ha. And that's supposed to simulate a panic attack, what that sounds like.
Nice.
Yeah. But that's my favorite
Was
song to
this
perform to.
was this like a natural thing that you did in the studio, or did you actively like do it?
7?
No, like that little bit to like sound like
Oh,
a panic attack.
it was on purpose, but like it wasn't planned.
Mm.
Like we were finishing the chorus. It's a post chorus. We were finishing the chorus, and then we just went into it. And then I was like, that kind of sounds like a panic attack. I feel like that's cool. And then we left it in.
Yeah. You sprinkle a lot of like sounds on this album. I can't remember which song it was, but there was like a giggle that you had or a laughter. And I was
7.
like, it is 7. And I was like, this is really cool. Like, I love that you have me in this like vocal tone, vocal range, sound, style, whatever. And then you like throw me out and bring me back into something new. Like,
Yeah.
I like that little change. It like messes with my mind. Like it makes me
Yay.
want to like actively sing or listen to the song, sing as well.
you.
Actively listen to the song a little more and like kind of dissect it more. Do these things happen naturally with you in the studio, like every time you're recording, or is this something that Pink Slip always tries to like have you add on?
I think most things I do that aren't like lyrics and melodies are an accident, and then we just kind of put it back in, especially in Torture. Boy Blue is the producer on that. He also did the intro track called Where Am I? He is always recording. So I like sneezed once and he like pitched it up, and then that's in the song somewhere. And then I just like screamed and that's in there somewhere.
Yeah.
I try to find producers and work with people who can be super creative and like make something different.
Yeah. What was the most interesting sound that was created or designed on this album that maybe wasn't necessarily an instrument or a voice?
Yeah. There is a panda sneezing
What?
pitched up in Torture, and that's like part of the beat.
That's sick.
Yeah. I love pandas.
How do you come up with this?
Well, I said we were watching this video of a panda sneezing. It's like viral on YouTube. You have to have seen it at least once. I don't know. And I said, can we put it in the song? And he said, yeah. And then I didn't believe him. And then 5 minutes later, it's in the beat. It's in the track.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm dissecting it again.
Yeah.
This is cool.
Yeah.
You like, there's so much creativity. So one of the reasons why, going back to my love for Angels and Airwaves, which is Tom DeLonge's band, if you're not familiar, I love Angels and Airwaves because Tom DeLonge tends to create a lot of sounds and designs out of nothing. So like he'll see keys and he'll create them, and that's going to be part of a sound, or like he'll hit nails or whatever. So like that's one of the early like artists that really got me into this like whole music design kind of stuff. Like, so whenever I do interviews, I'm always like super curious about like this creation process, because it's like you don't necessarily need an instrument to create music.
Yeah. You also just like never know what you're listening to.
Exactly.
Until you're told sometimes.
Exactly.
Which is cool.
That's cool. What song would you say challenged you the most on this album or on this EP?
I think if you died today, is really, really sad. I wrote it with my friend Sophie. She's not my roommate. That one, I don't know if you've listened to it yet.
I've listened
It's
to the
just
whole
like,
thing.
okay, slide, amazing. It's just like, if you
It's
died.
heartbreaking. It's kind of hard for me to like not feel chills when I listen to it.
Oh, thank you. But it's like, if you died today, my life wouldn't change because I haven't. Crap. What are the words? If you died today, my life wouldn't change. I'm thinking of the outro is because I already miss you, like I'm sitting at your grave,
Yeah.
and your mom wouldn't call, and it wouldn't be her fault. I hate that I'd find out from an old friend 10 days late. Even though we're strangers now, I know my heart would break if you died today. It's just kind of heart-wrenching. And it's like, this person was in my life. They're such a big part of my life, and now they're out of it. And like, I don't even talk to them. And if they died, like, I wouldn't even know. And my like life wouldn't change
Yeah.
if this person who was so big in my life is now suddenly gone. It's a crazy concept that Sophie came to me with. And I was like, that's crazy.
That's chilling. It's chilling. Well, I'm excited for this EP. I'm excited that it, the debut is finally here. I've been a fan of yours for some time now, and I'm still here, parked on that Spotify, waiting for more and more. So, thank you so much for hanging out with me.
Thank you
Excited
for
to be
having
talking
me.
to you. As far as the EP to close us out, what did you learn about yourself during this entire process that you didn't know before?
Whoa, that's a good question.
I'm trying to see where you are now.
Yeah. I think I learned that there are thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people that are experiencing like the same heartbreak or the same happiness that I am experiencing, just in like a different form or wave of it. So being able to make music that, as I said, like hundreds of thousands, millions of people can relate to and experience with me is a really good feeling and a really great feeling that I want to just continue doing forever.
Nice. Well, again, thank you for hanging out with me. You guys be sure to check out Natalie Jane. Where Am I is out now, and catch her on tour. And thanks for watching on Front Row Live.